Welcome to this week's episode of Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters, the podcast we chart the cinematic legacy of the classic monsters. I'm John Campbell. With me as always, Brendan Jones.
John Campbell.
Yes.
This was good.
I know, it's sad that our podcast has become this when we have to go like, wow, was this a good movie?
Yeah, this was entertaining, and you had already seen this before.
I saw this. I saw this in the theater in the year of our Lord 2009.
I was happily surprised. I mean, I think I had heard not just from you, but from other people that you ought to check out Daybreakers.
This
I think
has
you'll like it.
A generally positive perception, I think. And
on Letterboxd, it's sitting right at about 3, like right in the middle. Yeah. And I'm not saying this is a genius piece of work. I'd say, but right there in the middle is still, compared to a lot of the stuff we watch, this was good. It's got ideas and it's well done.
That's the biggest thing that I remember thinking, because I haven't seen it. I hadn't watched it since I saw it in the theater. I think I'll have to confer with him. I think with one Mike Gargoni. I think he and I did see this together.
Oh, it's better to see it with one Mike Gargoni than 2.
You got to watch out for the other Mike Gargonis. Well, I will say he and his father are melding into the same person. So there is an episode. He came on the old show back in the day, Bob Gargoni, and it was a little weird.
Man, anyway, 2 Gargonis for the price of one.
Yeah, we had to warn people. But anyway, the thing I do remember, and I thought this when I saw it the first time, and then watching it the other day again, just clever. And I think that's the biggest thing. There's so many things in this where you're like, oh, that's good, and we don't get that a lot on this show.
No, we don't.
Like, okay, taking what we know about vampires and just doing like a clever turn. And that's obviously the whole thing in this movie is, what is a world ruled by vampires? And all the little things in it where you're just going like, that's good. That you guys thought about this.
This is something that Gargoni really, speaking of him, would really respond to, is this thing really world built.
Yes.
So the details and background and all that stuff, and to tell you the truth, by the way, everybody, we're talking about 2009's Daybreakers.
By the way, I can't believe this. It's the end of the 2000s. This is our last movie in the decade.
The aughts, yeah.
Of the aughts.
Because technically we're still in the 2000s.
Yes, but of the aughts.
We're out of the aughts.
This is the last one. Boy, it's been a journey, and I am glad we're ending on a high note. At the end of this movie, I don't know if they knew we would be doing this podcast, but literally at the end of this movie, when the credits roll, you hear this audible sigh. You hear the entire. It's like, the aughts are done. Thank God.
But yeah, this has been a bit of a long slog, and it is good to go out on a movie that I was surprised by and enjoyed.
One I think does. The other thing I kept thinking about, because we've been doing the underworld movies, is not that this is the same vibe exactly, but it is like, oh, there's so much more thought put into this world than that of the underworld movies, which are fun, but.
When the Underworld film series has a pretty great conceit, the problem is that they really didn't do much more than make it a backdrop. It doesn't really get into what society is like or what it's like for humans. It's really just the place they're walking through.
As we've talked about on those, it's such a weird choice to call it Underworld and then really not play into the underworld aspect of it
really not have them like duck out when actual police show up or something like that. Like we have to hide our tracks and stuff.
Right.
No, it's just...
Actually, what's weird is the Blade movies do more of that than
yes,
the
they do.
Movies. Yeah. And
actually, it's like, oh yeah, these are shadowy creatures that most people don't believe in.
Right.
However, in those movies, we are only with those people, and it's their world, and we never go, well, where would I be?
Yeah. Where's the conflict? There's an inherent conflict that you're just choosing to ignore. This movie flips the whole script and just goes, oh no, the world is vampires, which is a great idea for a movie.
World is a vampire.
Oh, also,
and now I have to pay Billy Corgan.
Yeah, well, we frequently have to. He owns more than
they didn't use it in this.
I was going to say, God. And actually, thank God they didn't.
I was like, hey, restraint.
Actually, a fair amount of restraint in this movie. Once again, there's a much worse version of this movie.
Well, by the end, it becomes a literal bloodbath. But yes, it's actually pretty restrained.
They build to that, though, is what
they do.
Yeah, these guys, by the way, we should talk about the the Spierig brothers.
Yeah.
Who are the writers and directors of this movie. I've seen... I don't know if I've seen all their movies. I've seen most of their movies, though.
I looked at their IMDb, and they haven't done a lot. And I've heard of a couple of them, and I've never seen.
I never
saw Jigsaw, which ties into Saw.
Yeah, I'm not a Saw guy, so I never saw that one either.
I would be interested in watching Winchester because that's about
I saw.
Real life Sarah Winchester.
I like that one. I really liked Predestination, which is the movie
saw it.
They made after this, also with Ethan Hawke. That's a time travel movie.
Oh.
And I really liked their debut feature, Undead, which is a Australian zombie movie.
Haven't seen it.
Pretty fun.
Well, I mean, I think one of the reasons is it's not that these guys have been glossed over by the industry. It's these guys are clearly Australian filmmakers, and they're making movies for Australia, and they haven't had a George Miller-esque, explosion onto the scene
all their
here
films
in the US.
have cult fall. All of these are movies I think are cool, or people go but they're all did you see Predestination? No, it didn't get a big release here in the US unless you were looking for sci-fi films with Ethan Hawke, which of course I was. Yeah. So I mean,
they're clearly good, and I will.
They're also the effect.
I will seek them out.
They are visual effects guys. They also did the visual. They were the main visual effects supervisors on this and Predest. So I think they came from visual effects into directing, which I think is a big reason why this movie looks as good as it does for how little it cost. Because this is we've watched a lot of stuff and we talk about budgets, and I gotta say this is a $20 million movie, and this is a damn good-looking $20 million movie. And a lot of that is because they do the effects themselves.
And they're very good. That is an amazing budget, since you told me that. But I will say, and it's not a bad thing. In fact, I do like fresh faces. But I will say that outside of your names, which is, of course, Ethan Hawke and Sam Neill and Willem Dafoe.
I mean, number one right there. Murderers Row in your top three above the title.
But then you're dealing with locals, and not that they're bad. Well, in fact, one of whom I recognized, and that's Jay. Oh, I can't say his last name. I don't know.
Oh, wait. Oh, that's interesting. That's different than who I recognized. Because Michael Dorman's in this movie. Joe Pickett himself is in this movie.
Well, again, I haven't.
Well, he was also on For All Mankind. He played Gordo on For All Mankind, and we're going to talk about him again come The Invisible Man. He plays Ethan Hawke's brother in this.
Well, thank God.
Yeah.
But no, I'm talking about Jay Lagahea. He's from New Zealand.
Yeah.
He was in the prequels, the Star Wars prequels. Yes. He's very recognizable, and I've seen him in other things.
That's the thing is when
he's actually quite funny. I've seen him in a couple of comedy things.
When you talk about the locals in this, though, I don't think anyone these are.
They're not bad.
They're not because it's not New Orleans community theater players. These are veterans of Australian TV and stuff like that. These are professional
I will say
actors.
The only thing that takes me out is some of their American accents, even though you don't really say where this is taking place.
Yeah,
they seem to be trying to imply this is America. So some of it's a little shaky.
It's Future City. I mean, this is set in the same.
It's Future City.
We've seen Future City in a lot of stuff. We're familiar with it. Isabel Lucas was the other person I recognized in this who played Sam Neill's daughter.
Because really? Well, I don't know. What was she in?
She's in Transformers too, so it's not a thing.
Oh, okay, all right. I mean, good for her. Yeah. But no, didn't.
She was also on she was around. She was one of those people who, and she's still working, but in Australia. Good. But she was one of those people where briefly there was sort of is she going to be a new big thing? No. And I don't know that but it's but Transformers 2 after the first movie, then it was she's the new hottie in the second one. That didn't launch her. And then
she goes away as well, huh?
Yeah, it didn't watch. That didn't launch her too much in America.
Look, she was in 12 episodes of the new MacGyver.
I watched the pilot of that and immediately got out of there. I did not care for that.
Okay, is it because he looked at a bunch of like stray stuff and was like, I don't know what to do with this.
Well, it was just here's what people tuned in for. No, I'll just real quickly. They turned into a CBS visual, which meant there was a whole team around him, which sort of to me defeats the whole purpose of one guy who can think his way out of situations. If he's calling people, he's kind of not MacGyver. You know, like it's a
I get you.
Yeah,
I hear you.
That's my big issue. All right, Daybreakers though. Yes. So we've got a writing directing team here of the Spielberg brothers, and obviously Ethan Hawke had a good time on this because he jumps into their next movie.
He just recognized he was dealing with a couple folks who are going places. Well,
one of the things I really like about Ethan, and I'm a big Ethan Hawke fan. I know you're not as big an Ethan Hawke fan. So I'm a huge.
I like Ethan Hawke.
He's always been one of my favorites. And one of the things I really like about him is he does balance his, prestige artsy projects with a fair amount of genre stuff as well. And usually fairly well chosen genre stuff for the most part.
I think that the thing I respect clearly about him is he has never chased after the big stuff. He seems to be a guy that picks things he wants to do, that he's interested in. So that I always respect.
He's
because
never had
Hollywood track where you go like, get me in that. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he shows up in Marvel, but he shows up in Marvel as a villain on one of their streaming series.
And he was great, and it was really unusual performance that you totally get why he was like, oh, I can do something with this. Yeah, that's the thing. He works with Antoine Fuqua a lot, where it's like an action guy, but like kind of a more artsy action guy. He was in The Northman. I mean, just looking at his stuff, he does a lot of that's right, I forgot. He's in one scene in Glass Onion as credited as Efficient Man. So,
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's just like, I do get that sense that he's a guy who just sort of is like, I'll do this Blumhouse movie, then I'll go to an off-Broadway play, then I'll write a novel. I do respect people who just kind of do their own thing like that. And he's never been like a big name movie star, even if he is famous,
right?
Which
again, that earns my respect.
Yeah, and I want to see this movie he just directed, which I'm sure has been out for 4 years by the time you're hearing this. He just directed a movie about Flannery O'Connor with his daughter.
Yeah, with his daughter, Maya Hawke.
Yeah, and I've heard very good things about it.
Then I wish you well. No, I'll probably check it out because she's awesome. Flannery O'Connor's fascinating. So
Anyway, but this just like you don't immediately go like futuristic sci-fi vampire movie. Get Ethan Hawke on the phone. But that in some ways
he's your go-to for that shit.
But that's kind of why when he does one of these, I am a little bit more like, well, I might be more inclined to see it because if he's involved, then there's probably something of substance here. And then when you pair him with Willem Dafoe and Sam Neill, two of my very favorite actors. By the way, how nice was it to see Willem Dafoe in this after we saw him totally wasted in Cirque du Freak?
It was very good. I will say, okay, all right, nitpick. I love the man. Don't get me wrong.
Don't you?
I love him. He can't do that accent, and that's okay. This reminds me of where you have a good actor who just doesn't nail the. Speaking of one of your favorites, this reminds me a little bit of Tom Cruise in Far and Away, where where it's like, okay, the actor's fine, but they can't quite nail the accent. Willem Dafoe is an amazing actor, but a Southern accent is something that he's trying, and he's not there.
I would be harsher on it if it wasn't Daybreakers.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean? It's just like this is already a movie that's about futuristic vampires. So I'm not saying you're not, but it is sort of a thing where you go like, is this even, where is this anyway? So it's sort of a thing where it's like,
is that really going to keep you up tonight, Brendan? Is that your thing?
He is doing something that is hinting at a Southern accent from somewhere, but no, it's not but
well, he's playing a character named Elvis.
Yeah, you call him Elvis. And he quotes, and if that's not enough, he quotes Elvis a lot.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
You saw it, yeah. Let's talk about this poster before we jump into the actual plot of the movie. Very cool poster, which is an image from the movie, which is just all the preserved humans.
It seems to be a taller movie poster. Was this the actual movie poster? Because it seems like
I think so.
longer.
I think so. Maybe a little taller. Not your average 27
if that
by
is
40.
the poster, it's very cool. It's the human blood bank.
Yeah, I mean, it does a good job of selling you the horror sci-fi vibe of this, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's a good choice of an image. It works also in the film when you finally see it. You're like, damn.
In 2019, the most precious natural resource is us.
Oh,
that's good stuff. That's good marketing. Yeah. And actually, I will say, $20 million budget, 51.4 global box office. So pretty good.
I would say.
Yeah, I think Lionsgate was happy with this.
Especially, again, as you said, for that output, for the budget itself. It's like, dude, that's a win-win. Because that is a dirt cheap movie.
This looks better than that Cirque du Freak movie, which I think cost like $70. I mean, that's the thing. Is like this is a better.
That had little CG people running around going.
That's the thing, though. Is like it's a thing that we do come to again and again. Is budget is not as important as filmmakers who know what to do with that money. And there's definitely the other thing I thought about watching this while I was watching it was. This would totally be like pitched as a streaming show now, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. And actually, to tell you the truth, that's another thing I would have loved more of the world, because once it becomes, not that it becomes stock, but once it turns into the action adventure, the rebels versus the vampires, I was kind of like, I just want to see more of the society. Is that okay? Which for me is weird.
Well, I think, that actually is. That, speaking of our friend Mike Gargoni, it's a very Mike Gargoni thing to watch.
Yes.
But it's, no, I mean, that's the thing that certainly would have been more expensive too, right?
Right, exactly.
Because the thing that they, and this is also just filmmakers knowing how to use that budget, is they it's limited what we get, the pieces of it. It's very smart about how they show this piece of the city, and then quickly we get to the rebels and we're out in the outback. It's great. Let's dive into this movie. It's nice to talk about a movie we're like. I don't know that I immediately need just random bat jump scares to start the movie. I will say
that was
studio note,
pretty cheesy, and had me actually sort of just cocking the eyebrow and going, really, really, guys, because it's got kind of just sort of ominous music and a night sky, and then suddenly,
yeah. And I just thought, because it's not that kind of movie, right? That's why it feels like, it really does feel like a studio going, put in a little scare.
That kind of does feel like, and what's worse, animated bad.
Yeah, that's the thing. It doesn't feel like it was shot with the rest of the movie either. So I do wonder if it was like because this was an Australian produced movie that Lionsgate picked up at Tribeca, which, by the way, another thing I would love is to see a screening of. We've seen other movies at Tribeca, not a genre festival I think of. But I would love to see Bob De Niro at a screening of Daybreak.
I would too.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Oh, the vampires.
Future vampires.
Like the stuff you did with that.
Interesting stuff. No, all right.
Stuff.
Vampires in the future. Okay. All right.
Well, again, when we say future, it's near future.
It's near future, but it's presented as future. I mean, it's like well, not quite as far as Blade Runner, but yes, it has the genre of futuristic sci-fi gloss to it. Because yes, what's interesting is you go from that cheap bat scare to what I think is actually a great, really effective opening scene, which is this little girl writing her suicide note about how she doesn't want to be.
That is a very effective, as you say, an awesome opening.
Yeah.
And pretty devastating. So here's another nitpick.
Well, of course.
But here's the thing. No, it's again logic brain. So the outbreak was in 2009 because we end up in 2019 is the present of the movie.
Right.
So the outbreak happened 10 years ago. The entire world. This is the problem I have, is that the entire world shifted to be vampire focused, including technology, society, everything. Within 10 years. I would make it like 50 years at this point. Plus, you have this little girl who's a little vampire girl basically writing a suicide note saying, I can't stay young forever. I can't do this and I want to die. And you're like, but it's only been 10 years. It just seems a little bit more time to have developed vampire society, at least 20 to 50 years, somewhere in there makes sense. 10 years, you think about how infrastructure is now. Things don't get changed that fast. They just don't. So I would have jumped it farther down the line. But the little girl basically saying, "I'm never going to grow up. I'm going to be stuck this age forever."
Reminds me certainly of Claudia from Interview with the Vampire.
Of course.
Yeah.
And then of course you later see Ethan Hawke seeing like kid vampire gang, and they all look like they're 12, but they're smoking like they're in their 30s. And you're like going, because they've been vampires for 10 years. So even though they're still 12 physically, they're 22 and smoking.
It's a lot of that kind of stuff that's great.
Plus, a lot of people smoking in this movie. Almost everything that made sense, like the hats coming back, made sense because of Sun. Mm-hmm. The fact that they're all walking around kind of in a noirish with their fedoras and stuff, I was like, no, that's not just for aesthetics. That makes vampire sense. As far as everyone smoking, I was like, that doesn't really make vampire sense. It just looks cool.
Well, but it makes sense because if they're not affected by
if they're not affected, right?
That's what I sort of took it to be. It's now reverted to. It just does look cool. And people do it.
Just settled that for me, John. I didn't think of that, so I no longer have a problem with the smoking. I was like, that does make
because of course
sense.
That's the whole thing with the Sam Neill character, right? Where he was dying of cancer before he became a vampire.
Yes,
and so he's like, I mean that. By the way,
Sam Neill, don't even.
One of the great actors alive, really. I mean, I love this. He's a guy who, and I
don't want him to be sick anymore. Speaking of people with cancer, in real life, the guy is.
He's apparently got it under control, which is.
That's good. Yeah. I want that. That's what I always
he's
want.
On a regular treatment program for it. So
good.
Because talk about a guy. Talk about just a treasure, and talk about a guy who. This is a good movie, but even in bad movies, Sam Neill will be great. I like the third Omen.
Also true of Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, I like the third Omen movie just for Sam Neill. It's not good. It's dumb.
That was what introduced him to me, and I'm like, all right.
He's so good in it, and it's a dumb movie, but he's great in it.
He is.
And he is great here. And talk about a guy who just gets the assignment, because he gets the assignment on this one for sure.
Oh, my God. Well, here's the thing. Not only is the man... I love it when he plays. I mean, obviously he's great in Jurassic Park because he is a likable scientist guy.
Yeah.
But as far as villains, he has a perfect villain face.
Yep.
And when you put him in a suit, and again, that harkens back to the Omen, but you add on top of that luminescent, sort of glowing-y contacts, I'm like, fuck, that's all I need.
Hey, he was the best thing in...
He's Vampire Lex Luthor in this movie.
Oh, he is Vampire Lex Luthor, which is... You've now completely... I'm like, that is why I love him in this. Yeah. Well, and I love his whole thing about... And I think I wrote it down later. He has a line about, like, I don't want to... Oh, yeah. Oh, it's what's to cure, he says to...
that's a great
Ethan
line.
Hawke. Yeah, that's great.
What's the cure? The whole idea is for those who haven't seen the movie, he is the head of a pharmaceutical company whose goal, they say, is to create a blood substitute so that the mass of populace, most people have become vampires. Right. Because they're worried about losing the human blood because humans are dying out.
And we get this that actually leads us to what the next part after we start the movie with the girl burning in the sun because she doesn't want to be a child forever. Right. And then we get this once again really cleverly done. It's the cable news channel that's talking about we're keeping an eye on the fact that like we're running out of blood. What they're projecting, like within 2 years there will be no blood, no human blood.
Right, and then we find out that even those numbers have been fudged. They're like, in 2 months we're not going to have any human blood.
Because he runs this company. What is the Bromley Marks is the name of the company? Because his name is Bromley.
That's a very Australian name.
Charles Bromley. He's running this pharmaceutical company, which has their chief hematologist is Ethan Hawke, who plays Edward Dalton. And he is the guy in charge of trying to come up with a synthetic blood substitute that can keep the vampire race alive.
Right.
Because
and then we find out later, that's where that line comes in, is that it turns out that Bromley has never cared for a cure. He's like going, no, the whole thing is that we love being vampires.
The big turn, of course, is right that it's like, actually, what if we could just cure vampirism instead of keeping blood, this need for blood? Because we also see pretty early on that if you don't keep taking blood, you turn into the most monstrous form of vampire.
And Ethan Hunt. Sorry,
he would have solved this problem like that, baby.
I know, because he's the
living manifestation of destiny.
Well, there you go. But the thing with this is, we find out that he's been resisting drinking human blood. The thing is not if you stop drinking blood, you have to if you're a vampire. That's your food. Mm-hmm. But it's the human blood is the good stuff. If you go without human blood for too long,
that's what it is. Yes.
Then you start morphing into like classic Nosferatu wild feral vampires with the pointed ears. I love the fact that Ethan Hawke is constantly checking himself out, and one of his ears is starting to go pointed.
Yeah,
it's pretty great. You're like, because also your brain degenerates. You do become animalistic.
Yeah,
and you get the effects, man. Those guys, that one, what they call them, subsiders. That's very cool. Subsiders, because they tend to stay down in the subways because obviously.
Which I love every time the camera just pans from the subway down and you just see like creatures moving about.
The design of the one that's in his house. Yeah. Where it has the almost fully formed fleshy wings. It's like, whoa, God, that's awesome and gross.
It's really, and that's of course all done practically, which is great.
Yep. Those guys know what they're doing.
Also, there's just so many things that I knew you would appreciate too, because I was nodding my head at them. The introduction of Ethan Hawke as just a suit in the car in the rearview mirror with no reflection of the human, but still the suit. I went, oh, that's yes. Once again, we do so many of these that you just go, yes.
Well, it's just they took all the vampire tropes and then they're like, well, let's say that suddenly becomes what everyone is.
Yeah.
So how do you adjust society? So the idea that their cars pretty much have no windshields, or windshields are blacked out in case they're driving around during day, but they've got cameras on the inside, which we now have. At the time of 2009, that probably would have looked really
right. Yeah, but the idea that all the windows are blacked out and you have a camera, you have multiple lenses of cameras.
Multiple cameras so that you have you can see what's outside.
Just
so
these
apparently
guys are thinking.
Cameras, they show up on film, obviously, and they can be broadcast because you've got newscasts.
Right.
But it's mirrors.
Yeah.
Yes, mirrors are still a thing where, and obviously they thought about, well, why would the clothes disappear? They're not evil clothes.
That's what I'm saying. These are our kind of guys who are thinking about this.
Well, yeah.
These are nerds
I mean, they probably did just sit around over like pizza and go, no.
Yeah.
Well, but if they, we'll do this. It's so good.
Very
and
clever.
The idea of the subway system that's become not just trains connecting everything. There's a whole network of tunnels now, and they're like going, you can go from here to here during the day, no problem.
Well, that's the thing that's great about it is, of course, like the world has kind of reversed itself where most things happen at night, but that they've also found a way to keep the world running during the day.
Yes,
is very smart.
They also open with like a montage of just like places, and if you're not looking at ads or signage, you're missing a lot of great things. They show a gas station and it says open from like 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. Mm-hmm. It's like these are peak hours for your nighttime, whatever.
One of the best screenwriting things in here is the vampire coffee window and just the decreasing the percentage of blood that they're serving. And that's how we're tracking the lack of blood that's available to people. Is so great. But I love the they're in like old timey nurses outfits and they have the
there is kind of an aesthetic. I mean, there is a thing where it's kind of gone future 40s or future film noir.
Yes, obviously. I mean, this does fall into the camp of sci-fi noir for sure.
Yeah. It's a little Blade Runner-y where it's like going, it's Blade Runner, leaning into an old aesthetic.
Dark City came to mind for me as well.
Dark City, yes, of course. Of course, there's a blue filter on a lot, but not as obnoxious as other blue filters.
Well, they really use the filters here because then they go out and it's the vivid. Then when you go out into the vivid sun of where the humans are.
Man, the way they represent the danger of any stray sunbeam, I was like, yeah, that's pretty great.
Yeah.
because when the car gets its windows being shot through, and Ethan Hawke is driving it, and he's like, and he has to literally just duck out of the way of a stray sunbeam.
That, once again, these guys know what they're doing. That is great storytelling within an action sequence. Mm-hmm. That is how you do it, folks.
That is how you do
absolutely. I said, yeah. And yes, you do have Ethan Hawke is driving to work. He sees the punk vampire kid smoking under the bridge, and yes, he's brought in to.
You automatically. One thing, his body language is good. He's a good actor, but essentially you instantly know he is a regretful vampire,
and we'll find out.
He's not happy with the way it turned out.
This guy, this is a real guy who's like, I guess this is what it is. Because he pretty quickly is on board to cure vampirism once that becomes an option. And we'll find out, of course, that he was turned unwillingly too. Yeah. But yes, he comes into the office at the pharmaceutical company. We learn he's the chief hematologist. We see the image from the poster of all the humans in banks, very kind of Matrixy, or even Blade. They had a little bit of this kind of stuff in there, because this is actually, we've talked about this before, this is what Goyer wanted the third Blade movie to be like, was a world where vampires ruled and Blade was leading a rebellion against them, and a studio went, way too expensive.
If these guys could do it for $20 million, they just needed to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that is the thing. It is the thing where it's like, just figure it out.
Just figure it out.
Yeah. And so what we first see them doing is they're examining a death row inmate vampire who they have been depriving of blood to see what happens. Yeah. And that guy is getting real monstery.
He's getting real monstery, and they're like, well, we're going to be injecting this proposed cure.
Yeah.
Or substitute.
That comes later, but that's because first we established that.
Right.
Because we established that's how we first established that they're turning into monsters.
Oh, right. Yes. Because
then we get this. The introduction of Sam Neill is great, because immediately he's talking about. He starts with the monologue about, like, I was at death's door. I had this terminal cancer diagnosis, and miracle of miracles. He literally says that I was given the gift of immortality. But he talks about
he goes why it's like strength and immortality.
He's like
going,
great, man.
It's kind of a win.
But he talks about, my daughter was not cool with it. She refused to turn. She saw me as a monster. And he's almost just being like, that makes me sad, but also, like, she was an idiot, right? Like, that's just...
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, obviously, you need in a movie like this, and they were very smart, is you needed to address the positives and the negatives. You needed... case studies, and his daughter and his relationship is obviously the big Shakespearean tragedy that we have in this movie, and I gotta say it's impactful when we get to how that resolves. It's just like, oh my god, this is horrible.
Well, because talk about that Shakespearean thing of the moment when it's just like, all right, there's no coming back for this guy. And so they do talk about, they've had some promise with the blood scissors, and yes, when we go to the first human or vampire trial on this guy that you're talking about, it is Ethan Hawke is reluctant to do it. It's shown they've shown positive things in their animal tests, and they're like, you've got to move to human trials, and he's like, I guess
I don't think it's ready, and they're like, oh, try it on this dude.
And so they do try it on this dude, and long story short, it does not go well.
Doesn't go very well.
This guy...
Not only do we get vomiting, we also get just an exploding head in one scene, man.
Oh, that's how it's done. That's how you do it, folks. Yeah, this thing definitely earns its R rating on the gore front. No question about that. Strong bloody violence, it says here. I would say that's accurate. Yeah, because
it's not unrelenting. They do choose their moments. Yes. They choose them well.
Yeah, it's exactly right. This is well structured. So Ethan Hawke is all upset. He's driving his car home when he loses control of the car, crashes into another car.
He's essentially kind of distracted by, like, it's almost like he's got a smartphone. He doesn't, but he's kind of like doot. Oh shit!
Yeah.
And he drives a van off the road, and the van ends up hitting a power transformer. And he's like, oh crap! And he goes out to help. He just assumes other vampires, because apparently the idea that they know that there are some loose humans,
Right.
but the idea that there's, if you see more than two, and it's like, what the hell? I didn't think there were groups of humans anymore. But yes, it is a van full of actual living humans, and they shoot him with the crossbow in his arm. He's like, "Damn, I'm trying to help you."
When the bolt goes through his arm, very cool.
Yeah, they realize that. I mean, they don't immediately realize, but he's trying to make it clear, I will not hurt you. Mm-hmm. It's like, yes, I'm a vampire, but geez, I will help you. So they actually do reluctantly allow him to hide them in his car because
he tells the cops go, "We got a report of humans." And he's like, "Oh yeah, they ran over there.
They went that way."
Yeah. And the cops like, "Hey, thanks, man. Thanks,
yeah,
Mike.
You get home safe, sir."
Yeah. Well, and you better get home safe, because this was the thing I was telling you about this last night that I love, is the public service announcement of sunrise in 20 minutes as he's driving home.
I will say this. Mm-hmm. That scene when they're out in the outback later, and he opens the car door, and it is daylight. He's going under the shade of a huge tree.
Yeah.
But the car is saying UB40, or is saying UV40, because it's letting him know what the UV rating is.
Right.
But that's what I heard was UB40, which is a band from the 80s.
Yes.
And I kept going like, they could have said UV39, and it wouldn't sound like the automatic voice is going UB40. Now it's playing Red Wine.
Fair.
Don't do UV40.
That didn't hit me. I know who UB40 is, but
yeah,
okay.
They weren't a huge band, but it's just like they could have picked a different number, and people would not mishear it as the name of a band. So because it sounded, why is this car telling him about an old band?
Ethan Hawke. You should listen to UB40. Damn rebels. It, car! Stop with the UB40. No, he go. Yes, he hides them. They take off though.
They take off. He basically just goes, run that way. I sent him in the other direction. You guys are safe.
Because
and she's like, maybe we'll meet again. He's like, yeah, that's not likely.
Yeah.
But what they did make a point of showing that she sees his badge, his work badge, which is how she'll know his name and where he lives and who he works for. That is how they will meet again. Okay.
This is Claudia Carvan is the actress,
and I've seen her in a few things, but again, she's mainly Australian actress, so she hasn't really made a huge splash here. She's doing American accent.
She's in Star Wars Episode 2. A lot of these people are in the prequels because those shot in Australia,
right?
So
exactly,
you see a lot of but a very accomplished Australian actor in a lot of stuff that either is Australian made or is an American thing that's shot there.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, Australia needs actors too.
Yes. I encourage Australia to have actors.
But so Ethan Hawke comes home and his brother is there. The aforementioned. Well, now I have to be upset that Joe Pickett got canceled. But
he's that guy.
Michael Dorman is who is an Australian actor. And he plays Frankie, his brother, who's like, "Come on, bro. Let's get a cold one." And him pouring blood over ice, blood on the rocks.
Well, just like later when they stir blood into their coffee, it's like, oh god.
Yeah, it's like they still are having the same kind of stuff. It's just there's now blood incorporated into.
And this is a little tropey. This is a little Civil War-ish. It's like they're brothers, they love each other, but they're on two separate sides because the younger brother, who has come to Ethan Hawke's place to celebrate Ethan Hawke's birthday and brings him this bottle of pure human blood, which is very expensive. And he goes, "Happy birthday." He goes, "Yeah, this is my 10th 35th birthday." He goes, "Yeah, that feels weird." But they're drinking the blood, and the younger brother is fully down with the Vampire Society. He is a member of the army.
Yes, he's
Vampire Army,
who will be a big part of it later. And they're not at odds at this point.
They hunt humans. Yeah. They hunt and cull humans. And Ethan Hawke's like, dude, don't you see how terrible that is a thing to do?
Yeah, they're not. They're moralistically opposed at this point, but they will literally, of course, be on separate sides.
Yes.
Come later in the movie.
And then there'll be I don't want to spoil it, but a very late in the day hero turn.
Don't want to spoil. We always assume people have watched these, I think, right?
Yeah. So the brother is bad until he's good at the very end and sacrifices himself and gets all torn up.
Oh, there's a lot of tearing up of people at the end of this thing.
Oh my God, so much tearing up.
I'm here for. But oh no, he's not the only one who's coming to Ethan Hawke's house because monster vampire out of the shadows. No.
Yeah, it just pops out at them, and
Ethan Hawke needs to get better security.
One of the feral subsiders, and
I gotta say,
I do like this.
3 separate people get into his house. I'll just say, bad security for Ethan Hawke.
Very bad security. But I'll also say I love the concept of, since this is a vampire society, everyone's vampires. It doesn't make everyone like supernaturally just awesome.
Yeah.
Because I love the fact that he's like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
He is also a vampire, but he's like grabbing cutlery off his kitchen. Like, do I swat at it?
I love that at first they just treat it like a homeless person, or something. They're just like, just be cool, man. Just back up,
man. Let you out.
Because they smash the bottle gets smashed, and this monster.
That's Ethan Hawke being angry, and he smashes the bottle of the human blood up against the wall.
And this thing starts just lapping up that blood off the wall.
Lapping it up, and they're like, "Geez, maybe we should kill it with knives."
And they do.
And they do, and it's gross, and it gets beheaded.
Yeah.
And then the cops show up, vampire cops. Which, by the way, that would be the streaming show.
And
Vampire Cops.
I think I might have a few pages of a pilot called Vampire Cops.
And then they
ready
figure
to write
out
that. Yeah. It was a guy he knew.
Yeah, because they retrieve a wedding ring off the feral vamp's finger, and he goes, or Eduardo or whatever, and he's like, that was my gardener.
Yeah.
He's like, I know him. And so it sinks in. Is like, I saw him just last week. He was fine. So he also realizes how fast they can mutate if they're not getting the pure stuff.
It's, once again, the screenwriting's really good.
Right.
Every scene is heightening the stakes and it's which, once again, this is all base level screenwriting stuff, but we so rarely see it on the show that I am just going
when it's done well,
every
it's
scene seems to have a purpose that progresses the plot and the characters.
Yeah,
how unusual. So anyway,
I'm sorry.
So they clear up everything, and then the woman that they met earlier is in his house once again. The third just entry into his home. For Ethan Hawke.
He's like,
he had a security system.
What is it now?
She's there and is like, you need to come to this place. Because once again, she's figured out, as we talked about, she saw the Badger. She's like, meet me at this place.
They are apparently, the human rebels are apparently always on the lookout for possible. I mean, clearly this is also very Holocaust coded stuff. They're always looking for sympathetic vampires to add to their group.
Yeah.
So they recognize him as one. So they want to bring him out for a meeting. And she gives him a place out in the wilderness and a time. Come and meet me. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. And so he does that. He's driving out there. This is where we really get to see the car with the cameras because he's driving in sunlight. And he does, the meeting is under a big tree, so he's in the shade. But he does have his big black fedora on, too.
Yeah, and he's got shades on.
And who is there? But our old pal Willem Dafoe. This is
he's there.
Third vampire movie we've seen him in.
Yeah, and in this one, and someone on the aforementioned Letterboxd actually said Willem Dafoe was cast against type in this as human, which that's funny.
But former vampire.
In this, I know, I was like, you're not exactly right. Technically, you're wrong. He is a former vampire. He is cured, and Ethan Hawke's like, how? And again, I love this movie. I really enjoyed it, but their explanation of the cure is just like, sure, okay. It's hair of the dog that bit you, kind of like, all right, anti-venom.
Well, it's the idea is that it's quick bursts of sunlight.
Yeah, you have to you have to burn vampirism out of you, and so in other words, if you get an intense, full-on, I've been set on fire by the sun. And then that's doused.
Isn't that
you
kind of
keep
like
doing it, and it's like you shock your system back into being.
But I mean, isn't that a little like radiation treatment for cancer and stuff, where you're putting poison?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the thought process there, right? Is the idea? Of
you're
using a thing that too much will kill you, but just enough Because I do love the scene, of course, later when Ethan Hawke.
Oh, the scene's awesome
in the chamber, and he's like, "Again!" and
Yeah, so Ethan Hawke being not only a sympathetic vampire but also a hematologist, a scientist, he's like, "Wait a minute, are you saying you were?" And this new character who prefers to be called Elvis and is clearly supposed to be kind of a Southern good old boy, he's like going, "Well, let me tell you how it worked," and he talks about his own sort of suicidal, I've had enough kind of thing.
He definitely had a not full on suicidal, but Dark Knight Returns Batman of this would be a good death, where he's just like speeding his car around, going like, I don't care what happens to me.
Yeah, and he goes out flaming and is doused into...
What a shot, by the way, of Dafoe going out the windshield and catching fire as he sails through the air.
And he plunges into the river and then comes back up under a bridge, so kind of in the shade. Then you see that his eyes have been changed, and he walks out into the sun going, holy crap, I can walk into the sun. I'm alive again. And Ethan Hawke checks out his heartbeat. He's like, your heart's beating, so you are totally cured. He goes, yeah.
Yeah.
So then it's like, we've got to figure out how that worked.
Yeah. But not before there's his brother shows up being a real dick.
Yeah.
Because
here's the problem is that while they're having that chat, we've seen a guy in vampire army armor, which is the stuff they wear out in the sun, which covers everything. It's pretty cool look.
It's very cool.
Sneaking up behind the human lady and taking her, not hostage.
Yeah.
Well, kind of.
Yeah.
But basically, like...
he's rounding everybody up.
Yeah, and then recognizes, it's like, oh, dude, that's my brother. And then there's a pretty great car chase scene.
Really good car chase.
They get her away from, they all pile into the car.
This is where we're talking about they're shooting through the black of the windows, and eventually Willem Dafoe has to take the wheel.
I do think it's kind of funny that they knew they were being chased by military vehicles, which of course are going to have, guns attached. So it seems like maybe from the get-go have the human drive the car.
Yeah.
Because at some point windows are going to be smashed and sunlight's coming in.
That's bringing some logic to it, but it's more
Yes,
exciting.
I know, but it also would reduce the stakes and the action of the driver suddenly going, I can't, because they shoot out the cameras and they're just driving blind.
Right. Oh, that's also cool. Great. The screens all go out, so Willem Dafoe is looking through a bullet hole in the windshield and driving.
Yes.
And then the way they finish this is awesome, because he drives across an unfinished bridge, so he's just driving on the metal bars that are at the center of the bridge, and then when the Humvee comes through, it impales through the windshield on those broken bars. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Darn cool.
Also,
there's a little action movie cheesiness with like that bridge thing, and they drive across. I mean, it was a little like just a good old boy.
Hey,
so
you know me. That's what I'm looking for. Just give me a taste of that, and I'm there. Also, cool monster killing weapons. Willem Dafoe has a shotgun that's also a crossbow.
There are bolt weapons all through this, and which makes sense.
Nothing cooler than once again. It's a crossbow on top of a shotgun, but even cooler is the way that the I don't know what the bow part of it springs out when he's ready to shoot it.
Yes,
it's very cool.
Yes, very cool.
That stuff is there's a lot. Like I said, these guys. It is a little bit what Ethan Hawke talked about. I was reading there's a quote from him about like. When they told him about them, he's like, future vampires. But he's like, then I read the script. I went, oh, this is not just a B movie. There's substance here. But what I like about these guys, and this is true in all their movies, they're not ashamed to be a little bit of a B movie too. Like that's the kind of stuff I love.
A lot of those action beats are like, and not in a bad way, but are totally action shelf type stuff.
Absolutely,
where it's like, got it.
And the best kinds of those movies are ones that know just when to throw that in as a little spice in there, but still, because of course Ethan Hawke being Ethan Hawke, he's like, I saw this as an allegory of man's pacing with natural resources. We're eating our own resources, so people are trying to come up with blood substitutes. Yeah.
I mean, that's totally valid.
It is, but of course that's where. And then my favorite, though, is in the trivia, which is Sam Neill signed on as soon as he read that businessmen putting blood in their coffee. He's like, that's great. That's hilarious. I'm in.
I love it.
Love Sam Neill. But I like, once again, that feels like that's the thing where it's like Ethan Hawke is fine to do your genre piece as long as like, is there like a little substance here?
Yeah, that's how you bait them if you're working on your indie genre.
As much as I love Willem Dafoe, I'm pretty sure it's like, let me see that check. I don't think he's afraid to, because we've seen him in some shit.
Yes. And in this case, who knows, maybe a couple of those people like Ethan Hawke and Sam Neill had already been signed, and he's like, well,
because I don't think, once again, $20 million, I can't imagine he got a big payday on this.
No,
but like,
I don't think
this is a man who
afforded anybody.
This was a man who took Speed 2. So I'm just saying, good Lord.
Man, that boat was going so fast.
I still love, I can't remember where I heard that, where somebody goes, cruise control is the thing that inherently stops you from speed.
Yeah, that's the thing about cruise control. It sets a set speed.
Yeah, that's the exact opposite of what we want to do.
Yeah, you want to sort of suggest something that's out of control and dangerous.
Yeah.
Not something that's completely
That being said, no surprise here, Defoe is the best part of that terrible movie.
I don't doubt.
Yeah. I saw it in the theater. Wow. Yeah, based on the 2 thumbs up review from Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert, actually.
You were being so very unfaithful to your boy Keanu. You're like, he wasn't that good.
Honestly, that's one of the biggest problems, obviously. All right. Jason Patrick, I like the guy. He's not a Keanu.
Oh.
Very hard to, anyway. So they get out of there. It's pretty cool. We find out Willem Dafoe is actually the guy who built the sun protection system for the cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like he's very much a Whistler in this.
Very much a Whistler, and also a little when he pulls back the cover on his cool Trans Am. I am going like, never forget. All these Australian guys are just making Mad Max, right?
Dude, that's true. Yeah, every time I saw like customized vehicles, I was like, that is Outback.
That is a big part of their first movie, Undead, as well. So,
but I will say, it works symbolically, but it's also just like nerd bait. You're going to use a Pontiac Trans Am Firebird with the Firebird on it, and it is the classic black with the golden Firebird emblem. You're like going, "Hello, bandit!" It's like, God damn it!
Eastbound,
straight
down,
to the fields,
loaded up in trucking. Yeah,
that's what these vampires need, or the vampire rebels. They needed a snowman. They needed someone.
That's it.
In an 18-wheeler.
But I will say,
needed Jerry Reed.
You know what though? In fitting with that movie. They do what they say can't be done in this movie.
That is exactly true. We're going to do what they say can't be done.
Man, that is such a pure piece of entertainment. What just
that
glorious.
Is never going to win any awards except for In My Heart.
Damn, that is just a feel-good movie. I can't back any of the sequels, but
that first one though.
That first one though. Oh my God! That's a good time right there.
That is a good time, and Jackie Gleason owns every second.
He's so good, and just the perfect encapsulation of Burt Reynolds' movie star persona.
Oh
God, what a great movie. Anyway,
this is also who got away with looking straight down the camera in almost every movie.
Well, at a certain point,
I get away with breaking the fourth wall all the time.
I'm a huge Burt Reynolds fan, and I will say though, as much as I love Smoking the Bandit, it also kind of destroyed him because basically he did that same movie again and again.
Yeah, he's like, I figured it out.
Yeah, but it's like, you watch other stuff, you're like, no, you're like a really good actor. You didn't have to like just coast. But he was like, stroker ace, man, I'll take that, sure.
Man, we are talking about everything. Let's move back.
Yeah, we really are.
We got some data break.
So let's see.
They escape back to the rebel front, right?
Back to the rebel front was where we meet the other people.
And there are other sympathetic vampires, non-turned sympathetic vampires. So including like a senator or congressman guy. That's the guy from the prequels I was talking about.
Jay Lagaia is
Jay
Lagaia. 8 children, Mr. Lagaia? Good Lord. I just clicked on his
well, it's also
Wikipedia
because
page.
he's a star of New Zealand's 8 is Enough. Because 8 is enough to fill our lives with love.
We long ago gave up on anyone young enjoying this show. The second we're singing the 8 is Enough and Smoking the Bandit theme songs.
There's a lot of 70s echoes in this particular film.
Well, there are.
That's
this guy is also, by the way, just as a quick thing, because I know you all tuned in for the La Gaia cast.
Yeah.
A well-respected recording artist in Australia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he has a number of albums that are big hits in Australia.
Well, I'll say this. He was
2013's
very dashing as Padme's captain.
You're talking about Captain Typho.
Captain Typho.
How could you forget
Naboo.
Captain Typho? I always thought it was weird that he replaced Captain Tanaka from the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I liked Tanaka.
Yeah, he was cool too. Anyway, but yes, they all get together, and Ethan Hawke is not doing well because he's starved for blood. So the main woman there tries to give him a cover, and he's like, no.
I don't do that. I don't drink human blood. She's like going, you need
look at your
to
ear,
bounce
man.
back,
Do
your ear's getting even pointier.
Yeah. Do you have a bad ear right now? Tell me, you have a bad ear? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, shut up, drink some of my blood.
Well, I do like that where she is just sort of being like, nobody thinks you're cool because you're not doing it, right? Like nobody thinks you're like better, just for the love of God.
But then he loses his mind and rips her throat out. It was such a weird
I did not expect that.
movie.
I did
Me
not.
either.
Yeah. No, of course that doesn't happen. Instead, we find out that yes, they're like, okay, we know if Willem Dafoe could be cured, there has to be some way that works. They're still trying to figure out how that happened exactly. They haven't yet.
Right.
It will be Ethan Hawke who figures out that it's
because
controlled bursts of
again, he
sunlight.
makes Willem Dafoe walk through the process of what happened to him,
Yeah.
and he's like, well, how about we do something where we replicate that controlled? And this is handy. They're in a winery, which I do love just that symbolism again. Because we had the human blood bank and now we're at a winery. It's all kind of, that's cool.
Yeah.
And because it's a winery, there are these huge tanks for vacating the oxygen from the wine press or whatever. So he's like, all right, so we cut a hole here, introduce sunlight to the tank, vampire bursts into flames, but automatically trigger that thing at the top that sucks the oxygen out so the flames don't totally consume you.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's basically rinse and repeat. And he figures this out as this is the
cool.
experiment. Guess what?
It actually, this kind of thing.
It works.
It does. And actually, it made me think a little bit of in the Flash movie where he's trying to get his Speed Force powers back. And he's getting controlled bursts of the lightning from Batman. Yeah. No one else is bringing up the Flash movie. I understand.
People probably never bring up the Flash movie again. That may have been the last time anyone brings up the Flash movie.
That's okay.
Like
but
what you just did.
But I
liked parts of it. I can't deny.
Like it. I liked it. I like that movie.
Especially, of course, Keaton.
Well, that guy's a treasure. Has he done? I don't think we'll ever talk about him on this show.
Probably
I don't think
not.
he's ever been in a true monster movie. Beetlejuice is probably as close as he's gotten.
Yep.
That's a bummer.
It is.
I need that guy fighting vampires. So meanwhile, things are getting bad in the city. I love the riot at the coffee stand.
Yeah, because it becomes apparent to everybody that because eventually even the news has to say, guys, we have to keep rationing blood because our resources are running low. And so they had introduced that Subway-based coffee stand where people could order various degrees of blood. You know, it's sort of like you would get the good stuff if you were rich or whatever. Mm-hmm. But they are down to only offering 5%.
Yeah,
it's
that
like,
was the
we only have
most 5%
blood in the coffee.
And this guy
and some Karen
out. A total male Karen, no question about it.
Total vampire male Karen. That's
Karens
weird.
are not gender specific by any stretch.
No,
of
that's true,
folks.
He's basically like, yeah, I know that's as much as you can give. However, I am rich, and I want this stuff. And then it's like, no, we can't give you that. And so basically, it starts this riot
because he's literally grabbing at the bags of blood, and one bursts open.
And then the crowd goes wild, and the cops are involved, and the people inside the employees close the shutters on the thing, but then we see inside there that they've also lost control because all the blood's splattered everywhere, so they're sucking it up.
Oh, it's just bad. It's just bad news, man. You hate to see it.
You hate to see it.
You hate to see a vampire, but you hate to see a vampire society fall
They're
apart
literally
like this.
licking the subway floor.
Yep.
which is like, oh, dude.
And but what's nice is it's no longer just the monster vampires. Now it's the people in the suits who are licking the floor.
Yes, all the nicely dressed people are just
there's
feral.
something.
Yeah.
I think there's something there to that.
No,
I don't think so.
you'll have to explain it later.
So yeah, while Ethan Hawke, we get a whole montage of him looking at blood and sunlight and stuff like that. But while this is happening, his brother Michael Dorman has been sent after. Sam Neill has a file on a woman who they don't say, but obviously is his daughter. And we see he sends out Dorman after what ends up being this caravan of humans, including his daughter Isabel Lucas.
Yeah, the caravan, probably unwisely, traveling at night. I'm sitting there going, hey, humans, wouldn't you have maybe tried to only travel during... Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But, so they do basically wipe out all the humans in the caravan except for her. Maybe a couple others.
They bring her to Sam Neill.
And they have he's like, it's so good to see you. Look at you. You look beautiful. You're growing up. It's so great. And she's like, get away from me, gross vampire dad.
Yeah. I'm kind of with her on this. I don't know that I would love my dad as much if he became a vampire. I would have. I would struggle. I think I'd be in the Ethan Hawke camp of like, I'm not sure this is great.
Right. But essentially he's like, okay, do you now see how awesome it is being a vampire? Will you, let us turn you? And she's like, no. Basically, he's not going to take no for an answer. So he essentially says, hey, Ethan Hawke's brother, turn her.
Yeah. Well, she does stab him, by the way, in this scene.
That's right. That's like when they go in for the hug, she stabs him with like, I don't know, like a letter opener or something. It was like,
and then that's sort of the like, okay, well, talking about very Shakespearean, the daughter stabbing her father and stuff like that. And then yes, he does send Michael Dorman, Joe Pickett, to God, I missed that show. But who's gonna solve the problems of the fish and wildlife issues? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah,
and maybe someday in the retirement home, I'll finally get around to watching Joe Pickett.
I'm also
a
fan of the novels, of which talk about. There's even more. There's like 30 of those books. So
holy crap.
Yeah, that's the problem. Every book I read is one of 25.
Just like Dark Winds can go on for a good long while.
Well,
lots of those. No. And the guy's daughter took over writing.
I love Dark Winds so much.
There's
so good.
Plenty of Lee Porn and Chi to go around.
And that actually they did pick up, so I'm glad. I can't wait for more. Anyway, yes, he does send her to buy, but it does not go as planned.
No, doesn't quite. No.
Yeah, because So meanwhile, Ethan Hawke...
thing is, you don't want to forcibly turn someone into a vampire, and then
no.
Yeah.
No,
she starts messing with her own self.
It's bad news.
It goes down.
In good news, Ethan Hawke has figured it out, and he's like, how to cure vampirism. He's like a good scientist, I'm going to test this on myself. He's a real Bruce Banner type.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I think that's
he goes through the experiment in the tank. It works. He's now human again.
It's
He's
such
like,
a cool
what
scene.
the hell?
It's one of the best scenes in the movie. Is him just getting lit up. He's got the wet towel over him and stuff, and they just keep lighting him up.
Defoe is in the chamber with him, basically protecting himself because the fire is gonna, But he's the one opening the slot for the sun to come in.
Yeah.
Then he's in charge of within the tank, opening the valve to suck all the oxygen out. And he also has because he's got an oxygen mask on that so he doesn't suffocate. So they just keep doing it. It's like, well, we got a heartbeat, so we need to go again.
And then you get the big dramatic moment of him stepping out into the sun. You're like, yes, Ethan Hawke, you have done it.
Then within 5 minutes or so, his brother shows up.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And the brother attacks Willem Dafoe. And takes a chomp on him.
Yeah.
Which is when we find out yet another important part. I like the fact that the movie didn't call too much attention on it because they wanted it to be more of a surprise in the next scene. But what we find out is that, so a vampire has to go through that horrible situation.
He bites Willem Dafoe, not Ethan Hawke.
No, that's what I meant.
Oh, yeah. The brother,
But basically, if a vampire bites a returned vampire, like a reformed vampire who went through that process, then basically via, I guess, drinking that blood, they don't have to go through the process. It turns them back human. So that's what we discovered. So essentially, when the big raid on the pharma place happens, it is human Ethan Hawke with the rebels.
By the way,
human.
You get total badass action hero shot of Ethan Hawke walking.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
Crossbowing and all that shit.
Yep.
And Willem Dafoe, human, and Ethan Hawke's brother.
Well, Ethan Hawke's brother will show up later because you don't. What you said?
Yeah, that's right.
You see that after he bites Willem Dafoe, he's like and you don't know what happens to him.
That's right. Because we're still holding up. Because that'll be the big way he brings down.
It's well
Sam
done.
Neill.
It's they said that. Also, we should mention that Sam Neill has his daughter executed during this sequence too.
Well, the thing is that his daughter rejected. Would not drink from from humans and drank from herself. So it basically escalated her.
And we had actually seen that earlier with the monster guy in Ethan Hawke's house.
Yeah, where they're like, "Oh my god, he was feeding on himself."
Oh, which is that's so. What a cool, disturbing vampire detail.
Yeah,
of you're desperate enough to start drinking your own blood, but then that's just further
just
tainting and tainting.
Escalates.
Yeah. Oh, that's
so
good,
then what
good
they
stuff,
are
man.
basically doing at the holding cells,
Yeah.
They take out regularly vampires they don't want anymore or the ones that are turning feral, and they just drag them with the chain out into the sun.
This is where you're like, Sam Neill, very hard to argue for the society you're running when you're doing stuff like this.
Indeed.
Right? Yeah.
and they drag them out into the sun, and sadly, this is before all the brother coming back.
Yeah.
Because the brother is there watching the girl he turned into a vampire as she goes out into the sun, and that's just Sam Neill's daughter gets the worst end in this movie.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah. It is very sad. And I like that the movie goes there, that it goes to that darkness.
Yeah.
She doesn't get saved, and I also like no remote attempt to redeem Sam Neill in any way whatsoever.
No. He's evil.
Yeah. But once again, in a way that is well written and you understand. It's like, here was a guy who was going to die as a human. Now he's a vampire, and he's like, why would I ever go back? This is great. It's good stuff. Ethan Hawke's assistant at the pharmaceutical company ends up, betraying him. Because he's like, dude, I found something better than synthetic blood. I found a cure. And this guy's like, that sounds great. Come to the lab. We'll figure this out. But of course, he turns him over to Sam Neill.
He does. But, friends are hard to come by. And it's sad to see that.
And when not only does he get the cool line about what's the cure in the scene, but talk about vampire Lex Luthor. When they bring Ethan Hawke to Sam Neill's office and he's swirling a wine glass of blood.
Yeah.
Sam Neill, you get the assignment, man. You know what kind of movie
he understands. And he has the restraint not to cackle.
No, yeah, that's the thing. He walks right. He walks right up to the shore of the River of Ham, but he does not swim in said River of Ham.
No, he does not.
It's a very well calculated performance.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, this is when we finally get because he then bites Ethan Hawke. He's like, "Oh, you're a human? Well, how about this? A chomp." And then, woo, and you get a great Sam Neill once again. Fantastic. Do you get that we like Sam Neill, folks? But him doing the like, what have you done to me?
What have you done to me? And collapsing on the floor.
And then they cut back to the now human brother, and you just get Defoe monologuing about the thing about vampires is, and weak accent or not, the gravitas, man.
The guy's an amazing actor.
Yeah. And you just like, it is, but this monologue is like, ladies and gentlemen, Willem Dafoe. Yeah, for the next 2 minutes of this movie, we're just going to hand things over to Mr. Dafoe. He's got this.
Mm-hmm. He's got it.
Yeah. And like we said, though, even when he's in shit, this is not that, but I was just saying, he's another guy put into that category of your Cushings and stuff. He's going to crush. Like I said, he's good in Speed 2. As
I know,
stupid
if
as
you
that
can
character
do that
is.
and survive.
Yeah. He's also, he's also in Triple X 2. What was he thinking?
Oh, I have no
That's
idea.
the one that doesn't have Vin Diesel. That's the one with Ice Cube.
Oh, boy.
And Defoe's the bad...
Boy.
Surprise, surprise, Defoe's the bad guy in that.
What?
Well, like we said, I love him in this because we've said this before about, of course, the guy is what makes one of the greatest villains. But I do always like kind of what that person's reacting to on Letterboxd. He is a former vampire, but always cool when you see him cast as somebody heroic or you know, on the at least a decent person, right? Like, because it is so easy to cast him as a bad guy, which no complaints. His Green Goblin is still one of the great movie supervillains.
And also, thanks to No Way Home, given an amazing arc where you're sitting there going, I know that the Academy will ignore it.
Yep.
But holy hell, look at this.
Incredible.
This should have been an award-winning performance.
Both him and Melina, they're both astounding. So yeah, no surprise there. I do not believe Mr. Dafoe has an Oscar, which is a goddamn shame.
Jesus, after all the work he's done.
He's going to get one of those late in life, we're sorry Oscars, I mean,
I'm sorry, but The Lighthouse?
Yeah, oh, God. Me? The Lighthouse, did you see The Florida Project?
No.
He's fucking amazing in that.
I'm not surprised.
You're
not surprising me with any of this.
Also, I forgot, yes, of course, as I look at that, we said they're both in The Northman, him and Hawk, and he's great in The Northman as well.
I still haven't seen The Northman.
Oh.
I really loved Witch, but I didn't see The Northman.
Northman's really good.
Okay.
Once again, hot take on that one.
Back to some daybreaking.
Back to some daybreaking, yes. The brother then shows up to save everyone because, oh man, what is there's a cool Ethan Hawke line in here when Sam Neill turns human.
Is there? I don't remember.
I believe he says, welcome to the human race. Now you're going to die. Because he sends him down. He ties him up in the elevator, Die Hard style.
Right.
And sends him down to the lobby full of all of his hungry vampire goons.
Yeah, see, the problem is that all vampires everywhere are starting to feel the hunger pangs.
They're
including his military. So to drop him like he's a snack in the middle of them, that's just. And plus, because of what they've figured out, and the fact that he is a reformed vampire himself, Sam Neill, that basically he's dropping a cure in the middle of them, which makes this next scene so over the top but awesome. Basically, it's a game of numbers, because as these vampires just pile on and they start turning on each other, they are also, as they chew on each other, having been reformed, one by one they're turning into humans again, but then being attacked by another vampire
the next wave
killed.
Of vampires.
Yeah, wave after wave. And when the heroes finally get back down there, there's like 2 left.
Yeah.
There's like 2 of them that are now human with their mouths smeared with blood, looking around and like they're about to throw up because everybody else is dead and they are now human. They're the last that survived.
Yeah.
Pretty great. This whole wave.
You do get Michael Dorman trying to explain. He does try like, guys, here's the thing, and then he gets eaten though. Yeah.
He goes down to sacrifice himself with that big group. He's like, you guys just escape. I'm the bait. And plus, I'm also a cure for them, and that
you've also got to love, of course, when Ethan Hawke comes downstairs into the lobby there, that he's dual wielding stakes.
Yes, you do have to like that.
You have to,
and
like
if you're John, it suddenly becomes your wallpaper.
Ethan Hawke, just because you do get a cool thing of people going through glass and him staking, because he and the main woman there are fighting some of these goons.
Yeah.
Which is cool. It's all cool, man. All this stuff
it's all cool.
It's very cool. I love when my notes just say things like, Hawk starts staking. Yeah.
And really, even though there's not too much plot left in it, it's still, they have worked up to this escalating bit. And they also smartly here, as the good guys escape, we're cutting to various parts of the world where some of this is also starting to happen. So there's a little bit of like people waking up to, oh my God, it's a different world. Mm-hmm. But really, the movie's going to end with the badass, we survived, and we're now in this awesome Trans Am. We're driving into the sunrise.
We do get...
did I skip over something?
Ethan Hawke's assistant does come out with a gun and try to kill him, which sets up the awesome Willem Dafoe entrance with the crossbow.
Yes, because we thought he might have been dead. He's not dead, though.
No, and it almost feels like Dafoe's like, I got to get an action hero moment in here, right?
And he gets one,
He
and
does.
it's almost, I think it's green screened a little bit. It's a little cheesy because I think behind him it seems a little like this isn't really behind me, but it looks cool.
Here's an interesting piece of trivia that I'm fascinated by, which is they added after test screenings the Trans Am driving because audiences. Yeah, the movie originally ended with them all standing in the shattered glass of the door, looking at the sun rising and staring up at it. And test audiences said that felt that didn't feel like a happy enough ending. We didn't get enough closure on that, and so they added the Trans Am driving.
Well, I think it's a good choice, and
what's weird
again,
though,
using that Phoenix Firebird symbol is very appropriate.
It didn't feel that. What's interesting though is that's the exact same studio edition that was the end of Blade Runner. The original theatrical cut was they added them driving through the mountains.
Driving in the mountains.
The director's cut and the better ending for that, for sure, is just the elevator closing and
No, the best ending is a long, dry monologue about
who knows,
we all gotta die sometime.
I don't know how much time I have, but then again, who does?
Who does?
The best
By
part.
the way,
the best part of that documentary that's on the Blu-ray are the outtakes of Ford going, "What is this shit?" They have just the raw from the studio, him going, "Fucking, what is this?" And you're like, "Yeah,
I love Harrison Ford, one of our biggest movie stars, has always been kind of the reluctant actor. Oh, God bless him.
Yeah, it does just seem like
I'm gonna go back, smoke some pot, and
anything.
I don't know, make another cabinet.
Anything other than the like, if it's anything past like my first take instinct, it does seem like fucking hell. Oh, God damn it. Christ.
Well, anytime it's something he didn't sign up for, too.
Yeah.
Like, oh, God.
Yeah. But it's just like, I have to go do these talk shows. Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Just anything that isn't, exactly the kind of acting he wants to do, then he's just like, God damn it. And the last line is, of course, an Ethan Hawke, and maybe this was added too, him just going, "We will find everyone, and we have a cure."
Yeah.
And the movie ends. And like I said, I certainly would have loved to have seen more of the world as well too. But I also got to appreciate a tight 98-minute runtime. This thing cooks.
Yeah.
I really, I mean, look, I dig this movie a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it is the comparative thing. It's just solid and.
It's a solid piece
certainly
of
worth your time. Please watch it, everybody.
Disappointed by our old buddy Roger Ebert, though, was not a fan, which normally he is. He said it's an intriguing premise, but ends as so many movies do these days, with fights and bloodshed. Which I always roll my eyes at. I hear that a lot because it's always just like, well, sure, but like. What else do you want to end? Boring?
But I think the balance here, and it may be, he may have, similar to me, been so caught up or enjoying a look into something we haven't seen.
Yeah.
That when it becomes something we have, as in standard action stuff, even though it's well done, you're like, oh, okay. Well, it's got to hit these beats. But I think the balance is good because
even the standard action stuff is good action. I mean, it's like, that's what I would also.
The orgy of bloodletting in the lobby with all the soldiers and literal body pieces flying around.
Yeah,
it's like Jesus. That's cool.
It's very cool. It's very. I think it's a well balanced movie in a lot of ways. By the way, Willem Dafoe, 4 Oscar nominations, no wins.
Gonna happen. He'll either have one amazing late career thing, or they'll do, as you said, probably the lifetime achievement thing.
I hate that. I hate that the We're Sorry Oscar.
When he's 83 and they're like going, you have been amazing.
Well,
sir.
They just gave Samuel L. Jackson one of those the other year of just like, sorry, here you go.
But deserved anyway.
Well, of course. I mean, there's my favorite though is. They gave Paul Newman that, and then he did actually win the next year for Best Actor.
Yeah, that's great.
I was like, nice. All right. He was. I think we talked about that. He was nominated for Shadow of the Vampire. Dafoe, one of his nominations.
Yeah, well, he should have been. It's amazing.
He's incredible in that movie. Anyway,
my question though is was Paul Newman ever nominated for his appearance on the first Late Night with David Letterman, where he said, "Where the hell's the dancing cats"? Did he? Did he get any kind of
notice?
I think
he did. He got a special. They created a special category just for that.
Where the hell are the dancing cats? Anyway, so please watch this movie.
Daybreakers.
John,
highest recommends. Well, the aughts, as we said, are over.
Gone.
It's a whole new world for us, Brendan. Starting next week.
From the 2010s on, it's all good.
Well,
everything.
You know what's interesting about? I think starting out the 2010s is really interesting because it's both a new start and a return to something we're very familiar with.
Oh, this is the Gill Man.
It's gonna be a while before we get the Gill Man back, but a different man. The Wolf Man joins us.
At long last, again, you've heard me whine about it, and it's just for me, not a high watermark, but a high-ish watermark, and something I've been looking forward to watching again.
People bag on this movie, and I like this movie. No,
it had a problematic production.
Yeah.
From the get-go. So the fact that it ends up being as good as it is a little miracle.
It's another one I have not seen since the theater, though. But I remember leaving the theater thinking, pretty good. Great cast. Right from the second they announced Del Toro as Lawrence Talbot. Great choice. Yep. That face.
Yep.
Come on, man. You're like, who's going to take over Lon Chaney Jr.? It's that guy. Come on.
It's that guy.
That's
and
great.
Maybe Ryan Gosling.
No, he's not doing it anymore.
Oh wow! They missed his window, huh?
Well, they're still doing a Wolfman, but Gosling dropped out. Now it's Christopher Abbott is the Wolfman now.
Who is it?
Christopher Abbott. He was on Girls. He's in a lot of stuff. He's a good actor. He's a good actor. Should be good. But
step down.
No, Christopher Abbott's very good. I mean, he's not Gosling, but he's a very good actor.
All right,
but we've got Del Toro. We've got Sir Anthony Hopkins. Who, if I remember correctly...
Again, the father-son pairing that makes about as much sense physiologically as Lon Chaney Jr. and Claude Rains.
Yeah. But if I remember correctly, goes for it like nobody's business in this movie.
Sure.
And, of course, Emily Blunt, who I think we both like to some degree.
Yeah, she's all right.
Emily
Blunt
is wonderful. Also a favorite of mine. And I think yours as well. Hugo Weaving in this, of course, too.
Hugo Weaving.
And directed by Joe Johnston. A man who literally, he made The Rocketeer.
Is this where he was able to snag Hugo for Red Skull?
Yeah, the next movie he made after this was Captain America. So,
wow, that's great.
But Johnston, the man made The Rocketeer. Therefore, it will never not be a fan. It doesn't matter what he did after that. That movie is amazing.
He designed the Millennium Falcon.
Yep.
He made Rocketeer and Captain America, and if that's all the man ever did.
Yeah, and he made, in my opinion, a pretty good Wolfman movie.
He made a pretty good Wolfman movie, which we'll be watching next week
on the show. Starting off big for 2010.
2010.
This was and we'll talk about how I will say, I think the 2010s, we get a few attempts to build a new Universal Monsters universe, which was, of course, one of those where it's like, well, if this hits big, then we do Frankenstein. They're ready, man. Universal's always ready.
Always ready.
And I think it's a little thing like we talk about the pulps on IP Squad. The audience might not be there as much as we are.
Man, but they're just not doing it right. They didn't call me. I can fix it.
Anywho, that will wrap things up for this season of Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters. It feels like we've been the 2000s feel like it's been 5 years of us doing this.
Yeah,
it does feel like a long time.
Are we gonna pop the celebratory bottle of fresh human blood?
Of course, and pour it over some ice. You've got
delish.
to, or we're gonna swirl it in a wine glass. Also, is another, But that will do it for this week's episode of Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters. I'm John Campbell.
I'm Brendan Jones.
And remember, there are such things as monsters.
Yeah.